Hello everyone, myself Jyoti Sharma, Assistant Professor Pandit Harishankar Shukla College. Uh, this video lecture is for MSc Computer Science second sem students. Paper first, Advanced ARDBMS and Unit 5, Data Organization and Object Oriented Database. In this lecture, I have covered the following topics: type extents, complex object, database schema designs, OQL, persistence programming language, and architecture of object-oriented database management system. But firstly, we know what is object database system. Here, the basic introduction of object-oriented database system. Now, object-oriented database management system is the data model in which data is stored in the form of objects which are instances of classes. These classes and objects together makes an object-oriented data model. On the other hand, object database management system extends the object programming language with transparently persistent data, concurrency control, data recovery, associative queries, and other database capabilities. The key feature of object-oriented database is the power they give to designer to specify both the structure of complex object and can be applied to these objects. Here, this slide shows the figure of object-oriented database, and from this figure, we know that object-oriented database is the product of object-oriented programming and relational database system. Object-oriented programming with their special features, polymorphism, inheritance, encapsulation included with the relational database management system with integrity, concurrency, and query processing, and it is converted in object-oriented database. This is the simple way to define object-oriented database. Now, what is type extents? Extensibility is the another important feature of object-oriented paradigms. It allows to certain of new data type, that is, user-defined types and operation on these types from built-in atomic data type using by the type constructor. Now, what is type constructor? A type constructor is a mechanism for building a new domains. A complex object is built using type constructor such as sets, tuples, list, arrays, and another nested combinations. A combination of an user-defined data type and its associated methods is called an abstract data type. A name persists objects to hold collection of all persist object of a class. Now, extensibility, hiding of abstract data type internally, is called the encapsulation. Most object-oriented database management systems support data type extensibility, like one might define operation on an image data type such as compress, rotate, shrink, crop on an image and overlay two different images. In the object-oriented paradigm, different classes may have methods with the same name. For example, consider the three class person, employee, secretary, and the association relationships. Employee I as a person, secretary as employee. All three classes have method called the print. The implementation of a print in secretary redefined and overrides the print method in employee, which is turn redefines and override the print method in person. All these three print methods are different. An overloading of the print method has occurred. So, a feature related to use the use of overloaded method is called the polymorphism. Polymorphism is the ability of different objects to respond differently to the same message. Here, the type extent queries. For given example, we create different tables: persons, company, activity, employee, and single class query is select name, salary from employee, where job engineer. Here, name is inherited from the superclass person. And the next one is join query. Select employee.name, job, works for .name from employee, company, where employee.name is equals to company.name. This is a simple SQL queries for joining, and here both employee and company have a properties called the name. Now, what is complex object? A complex object is an atomic built-in literals type like long, short, unsigned long, unsigned short, string, float, double. The simplest objects are made up of these atomic types. Complex objects are built in from the simple one by applying type constructor, which can be nested, and type constructors are the collection or other record structures. Now, what is database schema designed for object-oriented database management system? Here, entity relationship diagram can be extended with support of object-oriented schema designs. All the structural properties of object-oriented approaches can be expressed in or derived from an ER diagram. For example, subclass, superclass relationships, and methods and derived attributes can be defined for both entity types and relationship types. An ER augment with methods is called the OOER diagram. This slide shows an example of OOER diagram of hospital management. In this diagram, pediatrician, department, employees, doctor, nurse, patient are the classes with their attributes and methods with association and aggregation properties. So this example explains the object-oriented entity relationship diagram. Now, what is OQL? OQL is a query language standard for object-oriented databases modeled after SQL. OQL was developed by the Object Data Management Group, ODMG. Object definition language. What is object definition language? Closer in spirit to object-oriented model to define classes in object-oriented database is object definition language. OQL is the combination of SQL and ODL. Now here ODL class declaration, a simple example of object definitions language. Interface, name, attributes, type, name, relationship, methods, and method example is float cap in students. Here arbitrary function can be compute the value of cap based on the student object given as the input. Now, most important topic of persistence programming language of object-oriented database system. Now, what is persistent programming language? This language allows object to create and stored in a database and used directly from a programming languages. It is allows data to manipulate directly from the programming languages. No need to go through SQL. No need for explicit format changes. Now, what is format changes? Format changes are carried out transparently by the system. Without a persistence programming language, format changes become a burden on a programmer. Which type of burdens? More code to be written and more chances of bugs. Persistent programming languages allows object to be manipulated in memory. No need to explicitly load from or store to the database. These languages saved code and saved overhead of loading and storing large amount of data. Here, drawbacks of persistent programming language. Due to power of most programming languages, it is easy to make programming errors that damage the database, complexity of the language, and do not support declarative query as well as relational database. C++, Java, Python are persist programming languages which support the object-oriented database management system. Here, architecture of the object-oriented database management system. It is a simple architecture. We see that database included with running application, linker, application library, all are included with application source in extended PL. Extended PL, it means persistence programming language, and database also included with declaration preprocessor and declaration in ODL or PL/ODL. So this is the simple ODBMS architecture. ODBMS architecture also have different types like 6-layer architecture or 3-tier architecture, but I am shows only simple object database management architecture. थैंक यू सो मच. आई होप कि आपको ये वीडियो लेक्चर समझ में आया होगा. थैंक यू सो मच.